Hey, it's Binding of Isaac. You've probably seen 1,000 hours of this game played. And if you're anything like me, you've played 1,000 hours of it yourself. But there's a good chance you've never seen it played like this on the Wii U. I insist on playing my games on consoles, and the only consoles I have are ridiculous. So here we are. Real quick, just for safety. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just getting us all synced up as we do just a quick playthrough of Binding of Isaac for literally no reason. It's just fun. One of my favorite games. So might as well. Gonna play as Judas, my favorite character. I was having a good time playing through Tony Hawk games. And then Activision got sued by a state for decades of abusive, discriminatory, misogynistic actions, which they defended and covered up. So instead, I'm playing a Nicholas game. The games industry is a cesspool. So there's no way to win. Really, I should just play no video games and thereby improve my life dramatically. But since I insist on playing them occasionally, we'll just play Binding of Isaac. Yeah, if you don't know, Nicholas is also very abusive. They've stolen assets from numerous creators and their own, their lead developer, the guy who owns the company. Horrific racist, total monster. Utterly unforgivable. Did I not find a treasure room? Yeah. So I'm playing on Wii U, which means the map is in my hand, physically displayed on the controller. Really cleans up the UI, if we're being honest. But I'm not used to it. I rarely play on the Wii U. And when I do, it is while I'm in bed playing the entire game on the handheld screen. So even then I don't have the gameplay separate from the map and my inventory. But right now, it is all in the palm of my hand on this ridiculous dual screen console. I mean, honestly, the Wii U is a perfectly fine console. It just had no support, no games came out for it, so it was kind of dead. Could be the best console in the world if there's no games on it. It's not going to be very well liked. Can't get that. Remember this meme? This is a 2011 relic, which still remains in the game to this day. Even in the most recent expansion, we've got Shoop Da Whoop. Embarrassing. It's actually a very good item given certain builds, but only a rare handful of builds. This is a pretty bad item, but I'm gonna try and make the most of it. That said, playing as Judas, early game deaths are very, very common. So I make no promises that this will be my completed run. We'll just see how far I get. One of these runs will be completed. Nice thing about Judas is extremely, extremely high damage. Damage is kind of your bottleneck as to whether or not your run will be good at all. So the fact that you start out with actually viable damage build, you pretty much guaranteed a functional run when you're playing as Judas, provided you survive the basement. Oh, that procced right at the perfect moment. But anyway, my longevity's up. We should have no problem getting through this run, now that we have 2 heart containers. We can even go in the curse room. Hey, that's a pretty good thing. I'm gonna grab it in case one of these is a telepill. It is not. know what I love is in not hearing an announcer voice when I use my pills. I hate that announcer voice. It was such an awful addition. I think it came out in Afterbirth Plus. And I didn't notice it for a while because I always play this game with podcasts or music on. But when I did notice it, it was nails on a chalkboard. I hate that announcer. I don't know if I've made that clear yet. Hate that announcer. They weren't done there when they wanted to add voice acting to this game, though. The latest expansion. Oh boy. They added a route in Repentance where you overhear the conversation of Isaac's parents going through their divorce. And the reasons for their divorce, fully voice acted at the beginning of each floor you travel through for a while. And it's really, 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 really embarrassing. Cannot overstate it. It turns Binding of Isaac, this quirky little comedy game, into a generic indie game. Like, that's the thing that every indie game has done and been made fun of for since the beginning. They're self-serious, overly explained plots that are way too tragic, done without a hint of irony. That's what Binding of Isaac is now. It's not to my liking. The route itself is fine, gameplay-wise. Pretty much all of Repentance is fine, gameplay-wise. Not, like, great or essential or anything, but I'm fine with it, honestly. Been having a good enough time since I bought it. I wish I hadn't bought it, because it supports Nicholas, but I did. It's the last thing I'm ever going to buy from them. Because I'm a huge, obsessive Binding of Isaac fan. There was little choice in the matter. And I do want to support the devs who have been abused by their awful, awful company manager. Hopefully they see enough support that they can get the hell out of that nightmare job and into another nightmare job, because, like I said, whole industry's a cesspool. This room is, yeah, I saw that coming. So, we'll restart. Didn't even get to use my goat head. That's unfortunate. I am pressing the B button because the Wii U gamepad has turned the D-pad, or rather the face buttons, to the side, and I accidentally started as Isaac. Whoops. Don't want to do that. So yeah, because I don't play on this console very often, I'm not used to the A button being on the right, and then Y being on the left, and it's all nonsense. You don't have to worry about it when you're actually playing the game, because I just use the directions, and those, thankfully, are not turned 90 degrees, because that would make this game unplayable. It was kind of a big deal when this game first came out on the Wii U, because there was, I believe, an explicit ban on games with religious content on Nintendo consoles. And religious content is like 90% of this game. It's like the theme of the game. And also the game is full of piles of shit. So Nintendo probably wasn't too fond of that either. For quite a while, it was believed that this game would never come out on a Nintendo console. But the Wii U broke that seal, and today they're all on the Switch. The Wii U unfortunately never got any of the expansions, so I'm just playing baseline Rebirth. A version of the game you do not see very often these days. The expansions added a lot of garbage. Once I got as far as Antibirth, or Afterbirth. Antibirth is the good one. Afterbirth, I was resetting like 95% of my runs. Because I would get to the first treasure room, and it would give me like the Pokeball, which is utterly useless. I believe they finally improved it with Repentance. But it's still not exactly essential. So yeah, this version of the game, just base Rebirth with none of the expansions. Very little garbage. There's also a lot of good items that we won't be seeing, but we probably wouldn't have been seeing them anyway, because this is just one run through the game. I forgot I was on XL floor here. Curse of the Labyrinth. I do not have any bombs. It's kind of awkward to have to look down to see my bombs. And I killed my movement speed, but that's fine. Because I've got the damage to make up for it. Gurglins are one of like 3 first level bosses that are needlessly difficult for most builds. Judas can usually handle them, because Judas has very, very high damage. Most other time, what? Is that possible? I don't think I've ever seen Gurglins pop up twice like that. Huh. Maybe they patched that out of the expansions. But like I said, Judas can handle it. So let's handle it. Come on, get handled. Damn it. Still better than most runs I would have with other characters, where I get hit a lot by the Gurglins. Mostly just getting that for Guppy, but I'm actually going to keep it. They did not at this point natively allow you to look at what your stats are, specifically. Like I can bring this screen up and it'll show me 4 out of 7 is my damage. That means nothing. You can go well beyond the limits posted there. The stat screen is meaningless and always has been. All the time that I play it now, I have the actual numerical stats listed out on the left side of the screen. Do not have that luxury at the moment. That's a quality of life feature that I'm happy they added. In fact, I think pretty much all the expansions added very good quality of life features. Even when they added total garbage pickups. I, of course, much prefer the Danny Baranowski soundtrack from the Flash version of Binding of Isaac. However, the gameplay from the Flash version of Binding of Isaac is awful. Much worse than you remember it being. So it's pretty much unplayable these days. Not to mention, even, it never played particularly well. It was prone to crashing and tremendous amounts of slowdown. I still 100%ed it. And its expansion, Wrath of the Lamb. Those were the days. It was definitely a good game at the time. Just hasn't held up. It's like going back to Diablo 1 when you played pretty much any other Diablo game, because that game is way too slow-paced. I'm kind of glad that the Diablo series just went to complete garbage, because that's the one thing that would keep me ever coming back to any Activision series. But luckily now, not gonna bother with them. I'm not even interested in future Tony Hawk games. because they're just going to be remakes. I am somewhat regretful that I ended the the Tony Hawk 3 video by saying, hey, people should probably go buy as many Tony Hawk games as they possibly can. Because I do not stick by that advice. Whoops. Too close to that one. Of course, immediately after that video, I went and bought a bunch of Tony Hawk games. But they were PS1 games that cannot be purchased digitally. So, none of my money actually went to Activision. And I'll be picking up those games and playing them again soon enough. Just taking a short break from them. I'm gonna take the pill bag. It's pretty useless, but just to see what pills we got. Ugh, amnesia. Amnesia is like my least favorite pill in the entire game. Even ones that actually like damage me or ruin my stats. Rather get those than amnesia. Believe the music in the Rebirth version of the game was made by one or two of the guys from the band Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, which is a band I always meant to check out, because they're like a weird experimental rock thing, which is right up my alley. Never bothered to actually do it. Like, the music in this game is fine. If this had been the only music that Binding of Isaac had ever been associated with, I would say Binding of Isaac has a great soundtrack. But now, I have better music to compare it to. So unfortunately, Binding of Isaac does not have a great soundtrack. Speed and damage. That is the best of the syringes you can get, in my opinion. I wonder if you could even unlock the alternative versions of the caves and like the necropolis for the next set of levels. The depths. Dunno. It's completely up to random chance whether or not we'll see, so not gonna count on it. Let's see. What I can do with my chariot here is open this, pretty much for free, then hop in there pretty much for free. In both cases, it's pretty bad, the stuff I got. But it could have been good. That's the nature of roguelikes. I played so many hours of this particular roguelike. By far the most of any that I've ever played. I've 100% of the Flash version. I have 100%ed Rebirth up to Afterbirth Plus. Still haven't come anywhere near 100%ing Repentance yet. But if I get there, I wouldn't be surprised. And Anti-Birth, I played several hundred hours of. So yeah, many thousands of hours cumulatively. Really should have prepared to say that word a little better. I guess I have the curse that doesn't allow me to see my HP at the moment. Right now, it doesn't show you any health bar whatsoever. They don't even give you that question mark, which future games gave ya. This should be our shop. Yeah, might as well. Oh, I can't afford it. But if I do this, now I can afford it. Not like I need that donation box or anything else. This is by far my least played version of the game. Although I did not include it in the thousands of hours I was just counting up a second ago. So, 100%ed 2 versions of the game, and played quite a bit of this version and Anti-Birth. This is my go-to game when I'm depressed, which might happen every so often, if I'm being honest. This version in particular I only got because I could just grab my Wii U controller right next to me in bed, play it on the screen, not even have to stand up. It's also my least played version, but it was useful every so often. Better to have it and not need it. One pickup away from getting Guppy. You know, I never had a good listen to this fight music here. And it's pretty excellent. I am liking what I'm hearing right now. But it is very short-lived. And the Depths stage music is also quite good. Like I said, perfectly serviceable soundtrack. I'm just not terribly excited about it. These are Bob's Curse Bombs. The curse itself is quite useless. Really, the only thing that pickup gives you is 5 bombs. In the latest expansion, they realized that. Gave it a, like, fart gas effect. Which, in my experience, has not been very useful anyway. Never used to clean up those rainbow poops, but you unlock a pickup if you clean up enough of them. It's like 50 of them too. Took a lot of grinding to get that on my main playthrough profile. Can't get that unless I can fly. Hope I get Guppy by the end of this floor. So then I can go get that thing. That would be nice. Nothing too interesting in here. When you do the donations in this version of the game, it's still very, very slow. Same animation every time. Every time you put in a coin, it takes like a second and a half maybe. Can't tell if I'm teleporting between rooms or if they're just I happen to get a very samey map this time. Pretty sure I do not have the teleportation curse. Get these damn masks of infamy out of here. Here's a useless pickup. That fly will only pop out if I take damage, which is the main thing I'm always avoiding. There he is. he's a very highly damaging orbital. Okay, I definitely have the teleportation curse. It's a very irritating boss. The dead version of the Fallen, I think. Now, the Fallen is the one that splits, right? The adversary, maybe? Maybe this one's the adversary? I forget. Should have paid more attention. Like I said, I mostly play this game with like headphones and skipping all the boss screens. Just trying to make progress quickly. I do not want this at all, but I'm buying it anyway, because I have too many heart containers. Anyone remember the Flash version of this game where you could continue getting soul hearts past the visible 12? So you could get like 100 hearts and basically be unkillable. And that was really the only way to complete a run of that version of the game. That was the main huge glitch that they cleared up when they made Rebirth. I also heard that they patched the Flash version with additional content and possibly fixing some of the glitches. I don't know, I never actually explored that update. Because, like I said, I find that version of the game to be unplayable at this point. Would be kind of fun to check that out, but it'd be far more tedious than fun. So I need to balance that carefully for my own sanity. There's really nothing in here for me, but I have a lot of keys, so you wouldn't know that, because it's all in my hand. Only I can know the number of keys and coins. 1 penny shy of getting the battery, which I do not need. Really all this means is if I get hit twice and my habit procs each time, I will get a charge of my guppy head each time. Sometimes if you go fast enough, you'll be able to slide right through the cursed doors without taking damage. I think that's a speed thing. I've never really found a consistent reason why sometimes the cursed doors don't hurt you. They won't hurt you on the way in if you're flying, but we're not flying, so mystery. Believe we are coming up to the mom fight. There she is. This is one they continue to make more difficult. And even in its base form, it is really slow, because Mom is invincible a lot of the time. Like right now. Can't do anything to hurt her. Spawns a lot of ads, has a lot of HP. And my own impediment, self-inflicted, is I can't hear when she's doing the foot stomp attack, because I play with headphones on. Don't hear any of that stuff. Do I need to go through the boss rush? Probably not. My build's not nearly strong enough to make it fast. So it would take a long, long time. I don't want to put myself through that, much less any hapless viewers of this video. We'll just go on to the womb. You may have noticed I did not have the Polaroid unlocked yet. That's irritating. But unavoidable. At least it wasn't amnesia. More gurglins is all I need. Kind of wonder if gurglins are based on any physical ailment that a person can suffer, as most of the other bosses are. Like the blastocysts, which you'll probably see. Those guys in like a little dome of goo. That's a real ailment that you can suffer in your life. Hopefully you don't. But this game prides itself on being gross. Which is another reason that the super self-serious mom and dad divorce ending really does not work at all. It's totally out of the tone of this game. Like, Silent Hill 2 also has a lengthy scene where you can listen to two people going through marital strife, fully voice acted in the background of what you're doing. And it's brilliant. It works wonderfully in that game because that game has that sort of tone. But when Binding of Isaac does the exact same thing, it's the worst. Hate this guy because he's also invincible quite often. Come on. There we go. More health. Absolutely terrible pickups throughout this run, but we're dealing with it. Even though I have tons of heart containers, I'm getting the guy who steals all the hearts. Because I don't want heart containers. I was gonna go see if there are some hearts that the Dark Bomb could go pick up. Not even gonna bother. According to my map, that is not the case. There are no hearts lying around in the rooms. Plenty of keys to get in here. I kind of prefer when I can't get into the double locked rooms, because sometimes they have a giant die, and I will always roll that die, which has ruined many, many runs for me. Because it might be a re-roll your entire character die, and oftentimes I will have a good run going if I've gotten this far, and I will do that re-roll and completely ruin everything I had. Just all my good pickups replaced with garbage. Happened many, many times. And God forbid a die 4 or a die 100 drops anywhere in any of my runs. Because that thing is getting rolled. Eventually I had to train myself in order to complete any runs with the Lost to just stop rolling that die 4. Because it's always going to be worse than the Holy Mantle, which the Lost starts with. That said, they did finally fix that on Repentance. You cannot re-roll the Lost Holy Mantle. He just always has it. Another marked improvement. A lot of the Steam reviews are mixed on Repentance. I think it is overall perfectly fine. I wish they hadn't changed as much as they did, because it's the final DLC of the game. So people in perpetuity will only experience that version of the game, and they're basically not experiencing the game. They're experiencing the game without, like, Brimstone breaking it in half. Stuff like that. Balance moves that also don't really improve the game. And the game is much, much, much harder than any of the pre-expansion versions. So the balances really change the overall experience of the game completely. Because you're not just going to steamroll your way all the way through the final boss, whatever final boss you happen to choose. That's just never going to happen. It did happen for me on a recent run, but it's just really, really rare. And it shouldn't be, because the thing you do in Binding of Isaac is get on a run that steamrolls the whole game. That has been the experience for over a decade at this point. And they changed it. Changes are often good, but not always. I'll get used to it, though. Eventually. Gotta kill this thing, and we're off. I used to try to do, like, themed runs of the game, where I would go out of my way to get, like, minions, like our brother Bobby here. I think that might be Brother Mary, or Sister Mary. Brother Mary. Yeah, that's how much I played this game. Is I would do like themed runs where I would only pick up minions and items that improved minions and stuff. And still occasionally complete them. Just make my own challenges out of random seeds in the game. It's a good thing I have the Mask of Infinity. That absorbed like 2 or 3 shots there. Apparently I've never done this on hard mode because I try to enjoy this this version of the game, this Wii U version whenever I'm playing it. So I could go and fight Isaac, but I've got the negative, so I can go much further if I fight Satan instead. Much further, 1 floor further. I think even in Repentance, the Sheol path is still just not the one you would want to go on ever. When you can go on the Isaac path up to heaven. No matter what they add to it, it's just always inferior to the path to the chest. Weird, my damage is ridiculously high. I'm still taking forever on these boss fights. I guess because that one just teleports all over the place. Satan is also not going to stand still for me. Maybe I should have gone the Isaac path, because Isaac just lies on the floor, waiting for you to kill him. Dark Bum, work your magic. I don't think he's given me a single thing yet. Yeah, this is definitely the Fallen, right here. And another one of these things. Sheol normally is not a boss rush, but today it is. Every room a boss. Still no payoff from the bum. Still getting a boss every room. Fine by me. Although my health is dwindling. Might not make it through Satan at this rate. Especially with a Dark Bum, just taking the rare handful of hearts I get and not giving me anything for them. In all the time I've played this game, I've only ever seen the Super Bum one time. And that is when you get the regular bum that steals money, the one who takes bombs, and the one who takes keys all at the same time. I saw that thing one time. I don't even know what it does. Didn't even pay attention to that one time that I got it. It just has its own little introduction cutscene. So there's a chance, because most of you probably haven't played as many thousands of hours as I have, that you yourself have not seen the Super Bum. That may be disturbing and unwelcome information that it even exists. This guy's rubbing it in my face that I can't fly. There we go. Yeah, let's just fight Satan. Not like we're gonna get a treasure room down here. I have no orbitals at all, so I actually have to dodge the entire bullet hell sequence. And at least no matter how much damage I take, it just gives me more flies. For some reason, just vomiting and nothing down there. Mask of Infamy doing a lot of work. So much work. I ought to be dead. I'm gonna use my explosive diarrhea to kill one of the eyeballs. Now the legs have gotten desynced, so they're harder to control. But that's fine. We'll deal with it. Not for much longer. There we go. Haha. Had a hard time loading my death there. Bit anticlimactic, but you know what? We'll take another quick run, see what we get. Probably wrap this one up very soon. But yeah, that's what happens on a particularly weak run of The Binding of Isaac. I really had nothing going for me there. No gimmicks whatsoever. Just reasonably high damage tiers. And I'd thrown away my Book of Belial, so even that wasn't enough. Whoa. Just completely devoured by that spider. Thankfully, get to start in, one of my actually favorite zodiac signs. Oh, wait, it's Virgo. Virgo is my least favorite zodiac sign. Not in real life. I don't give a damn about the zodiac in reality, but in this game, Virgo is trash. I know it because I'm a Virgo. My birthday is later this week. And yeah. It's a bad sign to be, and it's a very, very bad sign to pick up in Binding of Isaac. So, yeah, I thought it was Scorpio. I love Scorpio, because it makes all your tears poisonous. I love the poison effect on tears in this game. For some reason, I prefer dots to just straight damage, even though it's inefficient. Regardless, this run is over. Canonically, Satan killed us. But thanks to Virgo, I had to wait even longer to die. So much longer. And Spider kills us again. So there we go. That's Binding of Isaac. You know it. You love it. Happy to have been killed by Satan and spiders, two of my favorite things. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed. Maybe someday I'll come back to Binding of Isaac, but more likely I will come back to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which I have much, much more to say about that series and those games that I have, because I love them. And I also love Binding of Isaac. So, see you around in some other video.